Hello, and welcome to Dice Punks, a tabletop role-playing podcast where we focus on playing full campaigns in less well-known systems. This week, in Episode 1, we're getting started on our first campaign using a combination of the Reign and Nobilis systems. Thank you for joining us. Hello and welcome. I'm Adam, your friendly neighborhood game master, with a few brief remarks before we get to the other introductions. Part of the idea behind starting this podcast was to do an actual play show in less well-known systems, and I got so excited about it that in this inaugural campaign, we're playing in a combined system I cooked up that bears some description. Most of the players you're about to hear from are playing a character who was, until recently, mortal, but who has since been given an estate, something in the cosmos that they're the master over and that they're responsible for. So each of these characters has a set of stats and skills describing who they were and what they could do as mortals, which is where we're using the rules for Greg Stolze's fantasy system in his trademark one roll engine, Reign. On top of that, though, each character also has their newly granted divine, demigodly nature and abilities, for which we're using Jenna Caterin Moran's diceless Nobilis system. This divine status and power does come from somewhere, though, a godlike entity called an Imperator, who our players helped design and who our fearless heroes will meet for the first time during this session. So, without further ado, let's meet our heroes and their players.
Hi, I'm Drew, and I will be playing Dosktyr, the Duke of Nothing.
I'm Robin, and I'll be playing Lissa, the towering, flirtatious Duchess of Fury.
I'm Dez, and I will be playing Rumnet, who is not ennobled, but is instead having a church built up around him.
Excellent descriptions all, thank you. In just a moment, we're going to hear from each of our characters about their commencement, the moment when they became partly divine, and its aftermath. But first, I thought I'd say a few words about our setting. Our heroes live in a world called Mieleth, but know little of the areas outside of their home region of Taraxis. Taraxis is large, populated, and culturally, linguistically, and economically cohesive enough to be a country, but it lacks anything so organized as a central government. Instead, it's dominated by a series of large trading cities along the coast to the west, and a smaller one along the main river, the Seru. The largest and most powerful of these cities is Calavan, just south and west of the Seru Delta. Hospitable lands in the plains, hills, and valleys tends to be thoroughly populated with towns, villages, farms, and ranches, while mountains, deserts, deep forests, and wetlands are usually avoided, and have long been where dangers big and small lurk. Taraxans call the tropical forest to the north the Shadowed Lands, and avoid venturing or even going ashore there, though some of their merchants do sail beyond it to trade. To the south, Taraxis trails off along the coast to the west among the cool plains and wetlands of the hinterlands, and ends in the east at the edge of the vast, cold desert called the Caroline Waste. Jutting far north into Taraxis between these two regions is the massive range of tall, rocky mountains called the Desolation. That's certainly enough for a broad sketch, and our heroes hail from many parts of Taraxis, so we'll get more acquainted with our setting through hearing their stories. So let's begin with your commencement, Dosk. Tell us how you became a demigod.
So I'm in Theret, where I'm from, and I'm comparing notes with a student from, I don't know where, it doesn't really matter. And I mention who I am, I don't like to talk about it, but I come from yes, when I say my name is Dosktyr, I'm from the Tyr family, everyone's heard of us. I really don't like to talk about it. Anyway, we're talking about philosophy, and he says that he thinks you can't really understand the nature of reality until you've read this one specific book of which there's only one copy in the city of Theret. And I'm, if I may be perfectly honest, a bit drunk at this point. So I say, what book? And he says, in order to find out, you'll need to arm wrestle me. And I say, that's ridiculous, but of course I'm already taking off my glove. I wear gloves everywhere. My hands are musicianly, and I like to protect them. Anyway, I remove my right glove, and we arm wrestle, and I win, of course, and with no effort whatsoever, really. And he tells me the name of the book, and I decide that I'm going to take a journey to Theret. So I hire a carriage, at no small expense, I must say, but you should know this about me. When I'm curious about something, I can't let it go. This has always been true about me, actually. I'm sort of an omnivore for information. When I get a notion in my head, there's absolutely no possibility of my stopping until I've exhausted my curiosity. Absolutely. My family wanted me to be a merchant. It was never quite going to happen. I was always going to be a student of everything, it seems. So anyway, I make my way to Therrit, and I ask around, and I find my way to the library, and I charm my way in, really. I'm not a local. What right have I to be there? But I have every right to be there because it has information I need. I look around the first floor, the second floor, the foyer. Nothing. This book is nowhere in attendance, nowhere in evidence. I do, however, find a door down. So I find a basement. I, of course, purchase a lantern in town. I don't carry a lantern with me. That would be strange. But I find one. I bring it down into the basement. And I look, and the book is nowhere. But I do find another door down into a sub-basement. And I go down, and then I find another door. No book, but another door down into a sub-basement. And at this point, my torch is going to run out, so I cap the lantern and I go back up. I hire a hotel room for the night, and I decide that I'll come back the next day. I do no small amount of carousing, but better left undescribed, I suppose. I go back the next day, 3 layers down, no book, 4 layers down, no book, 5 layers down, no book, another night of carousing. It's best not to describe, a gentleman doesn't tell. I go back to the hotel and then back to the library. 7, 8 layers down, at some point I lose count. I'm going to find this book. Whatever it takes, I'm going to find this book, and eventually I go so deep that there's simply no way my lantern will last. And I find myself waiting, simply looking at the flame, quavering and about to go out, and realize that I'm about to find myself in absolute darkness.
All right. Just a quick correction there, Dosk. Therrit is indeed where you're from, but you also said it was where you traveled to in search of this elusive tome. In fact, the city the book was said to reside in was Selvin, the only inland major trading city located along the Seru River. With that clarified, though, let's move on. And, Lissa, how did you come to be ennobled?
Would it be too trite to say that it began on a day like any other? I was at home in Pelton in the process of smelting ore from the mines when I heard voices from the front of the smithy. At first they were cordial, but then they shifted. I wiped the sweat and soot from my brow, grabbed Electo, my hammer, and went to investigate. The landlord had sent 5 thugs to collect our rent. By the time I made it to the front of the smithy, the men had already pushed Varric to the ground. I could see a fresh welt on his brow, and, well, of course I got a little angry. Varric had taken me under his wing, taught me everything he knew about blacksmithing, and gave me work and a roof over my head. He was family. I helped him to his feet and stepped between him and the men. I did try to defuse the situation. I scolded them for bullying an old man and suggested that we could arrive at some agreement, maybe grab drinks later. They did not relent. Problem was that we had paid rent, the amount we'd agreed upon, but the landlord wanted more and more each month. I stood my ground. The men pulled out chains and batons. They said that once they were done with me, they would break Varric's hands. Something tore through me, white hot and blinding, not light, but darkness. The pain came in shocks. Each blow was a hammer fall, reshaping me into a new form. I'd never felt such heat before, such fury. Distantly, I heard a hiss like the quenching of new formed steel, and though the transformation was complete, I still did not wholly understand this new presence that had been annealed into my soul. My physical form felt meaningless. I could feel them. The repressed heat and hatred of an incomprehensible horde of minds. They were embers in the dark, and I reached out to them. Shackles fell, I rose, and I gave myself to the burgeoning shadows. I was not wholly in my right mind when the darkness finally ebbed. My throat felt raw, my vision was blurred, and even if I could see clearly, I doubt that I could have comprehended the sights around me with any added clarity. My mortal form felt weak, but that new presence within me felt satiated. Home was home no longer. For a time I could do nothing but weep. Varric eventually came out from hiding. I could feel him hovering behind me, as though unsure whether to comfort me or banish me. Eventually, he suggested that we head to Laurenton. Lay low for a while, keep our heads down. But I felt a pull from within, like an impatient master tugging on the leash of a petulant dog. The obsidian god, who I now knew to be called Mott, was calling us to the desolation, the mounted range that lay beyond our home. We began the climb, and it was all rocks and sand, and, well, Varric is old, so our progress was painfully slow. We followed the Wayland River up, until chill gnawed at our bones and the river vanished somewhere into the mountain. Eventually we found a cave entrance. It was like a great and terrible maw opening in the side of the desolation, with a stream like spittle trickling from its rocky cavern. I was concerned about this path at first. It seemed like we had to squeeze through narrow space after narrow space, and at times we had to crawl on our hands and feet. My hands became raw, my feet were blistered, and everything was just perpetually damp. After an interminable amount of time, the cave opened into an underground forest. It was quite beautiful. Stalagmites and stalactites stretched in all directions, as far as the eyes could see, and bioluminescent creatures provided an eerie blue light to the scene. At the heart of this underground forest was a hole of perfect darkness, with the sound of the Wayland roaring far below. I felt that tug again, and knew that I had to jump.
All right, we'll be sure to see what happened to Lissa after that. But first, we need to hear from Romnet. What's Romnet been up to?
So, the bar is louder than the city an observer would walk in from. Good cheer and carousing and games of chance in the back. At a table, in the center, sits a hulk of a man with dark hair and a full beard, in a nice-ish linen shirt that serves to emphasize the physique it strains to contain. On his lap, grinning and whispering something into the bigger man's ear, is a beautiful man with reddish-brown hair, in crisp dark clothing, and wearing several pieces of jewelry, black stones set in black metal. A nervous-looking woman approaches us, hesitantly, like she knows the degree to which she's intruding on my good time. Excuse me, sir? Duty calls, my friend, I say, as I pat the man whose lap I'm sitting in on his cheek and shift so that I'm facing the table rather than man. From a pocket, I pull out a deck of cards, a bowl, and a stoppered bottle. A pitcher of water appears on the table. This is a known process, and I pour 2 drops of liquid from bottle to pitcher. Fluid dynamics shouldn't spread the inky blackness through the pitcher so quickly, but within its moments, it is dark as the night outside. I pour the liquid into the bowl, as well as into a glass for the querent. The querent slides a small bag of coins to the prophet, as she drinks down the glass, blackening her mouth and tongue and lips. I disappear the coins into a pocket. Knowledge has prices. Ask. Does the reflection I see in the canals love me back? I tap the water in the bowl just enough to send ripples to the edge. I place my wet finger on my black tongue, tasting darkness and possibility. I draw 3 cards from the deck and look at them without showing the querent. There is more in the cards than the answer to the question, and that knowledge was not paid for. Yes, she does. But your plan to rush through the reflection and find him is self-undermining. Let her instead come to you. Hospitality is required. Generosity is permissive. As ever, knowledge of the obsidian god is forbidden. The woman nods her thanks and leaves the bar. Another petitioner steps forward now that they see that the prophet of the obsidian god is at least partly present for business matters. They hesitate, though, because, as they put coin to table, I double over. The man on whose thigh I have been sitting puts an arm around my chest to keep me from hitting my head on the table. A voice in my head tells me that his children and tools and harbingers come. I become aware, through the onslaught of the darkened thought, that my presence is required. I apologize. I must go to the heart. Find me tomorrow or the night after, as your schedule permits, and I will prophesy for you then. I extricate myself from my companion, and give him a farewell kiss on the forehead. I leave the tavern, and proceed with all due haste to the manifestation, an immense edifice to the obsidian god, that is at once fortress and cathedral and primordial, edifice. Within, I find a side door to which I alone have the key. I unlock it and descend an unknown number of steps to find myself in a lightless cave with a divine well.
Also, in a lightless cave with a divine well, in short order, are Dask Tyr. Would you describe yourself to the onlookers in this dark cave as you emerge from what you thought was the 7th or 8th sub-basement of a library into what appears to be a cavern wrought entirely of obsidian?
Anyone looking who could see would see a man who is making himself as conspicuous as possible and yet is also somehow hiding. An unremarkable build, and they would know right away a less than commanding voice, since he'd be muttering mott, without quite knowing why. The first thing they'd probably notice would be his patchwork of mismatched clothes, a doublet, leather jerkin, gloves of bright colors, each a fine piece, but none of them with any reference to another. A man whose appearance makes no particular statement, but makes it very loudly. They would also notice that he was conspicuously hirsute, beard and hair banded, and always threatening to explode into an unruly storm cloud, but for now, under control.
Also emerging into this obsidian underworld is Lissa from, where you thought you were going to splash into a river. You instead emerge into an obsidian cave. What would an onlooker see as you do?
The first thing they'd probably see is me hit my head. I'm a mountain of a woman, towering in at 6'7", and I have innumerable piercings, baubles, bracelets, and buckles, but all of those things don't quite distract from the onyx coils of a 2-headed snake tattoo that spans my entire body. You may think it's a trick of the light, but those bands seem to shift every once in a while. Of course, I have my hammer with me, and I'm also still wearing my black apron that I use at the smithy, but I might be looking a little worse for wear considering my journey.
For sure. So, probably the thing that Ramna is paying the most attention to is the roughly hewn obsidian well in the center of the room. But Dask, as you become aware of your surroundings and aware that they are not the 7th or 8th sub-basement of the library you were in, your gaze is drawn to an alcove on one side that it kind of seems like you shouldn't be able to see. There isn't really any light in here, and yet you can just make it out. It seems completely abstract at first, but you feel a sort of kinship or a pull, and as you observe it, it resolves in your mind not just shapes, but the shapes of a workshop or a laboratory or maybe even a library, all three perhaps, and more. Seating and surfaces, shelves and tools, but all of it just sculpted out of the rock over out of one wall. It seems inchoate in some way, as though the carving was unfinished, but the longer you look at it, the more you understand what each element of it is. In fact, you're pretty sure that it's not just your vision adjusting, it's actually the detail with which this has been hewn out of the rock seems to be sharpening as you behold it. You feel a strong affinity for this alcove. Similarly, Lissa, as you emerge into this space from you're not entirely sure where, your eyes are drawn to a particular pillar of obsidian nearby where the well stands. Around this pillar is wrapped, climbing, a not entirely familiar and yet somehow very familiar serpent, in a pose that suggests that it is not currently threatened or threatening, but wouldn't take very much provoking. As you watch, you perceive more and more detail. The eyes are watchful, glistening. You even think you see the head move a little bit to cast its gaze around the cavern, but of course that can't be right, and you don't detect any actual movement, just differences in position between moments. Odd, but nevertheless you feel an affinity for the carving of the snake. All of this, however, is overridden pretty quickly. Ramnet, you probably expect what comes next a little bit more, hence your attention to the well, and despite noting the two strangers who have emerged. But out of the well, seemingly from a great distance, echoes a voice. It's a strange voice, certainly not a human voice. It sounds is the wrong word. You don't really hear it with your ears, but you nevertheless perceive it as a sound. If pressed, the best way you could describe it is a heartbreakingly beautiful scream. Well, several, perhaps, layered over one another. The voice emerges from the well and says,
"Welcome, my children, to the heart of Fermata. You have been summoned here because you have been entrusted with fury and nothing to be my stewards of these ideas here in this strangely static world. I have returned, you see, from a long indifference, and I require agents. Return here when next it is darkest out. In the meantime, my prophet shall be able to fill you in on your responsibilities."
The voice echoes quite dramatically around the chamber for what seems like longer than it should. Ramnet, for what it's worth, you have no idea what this voice is talking about.
Yeah.
As the echoes fade,
I'm shocked.
Dask and Lissa, you see Ramnet, you see the cavern, you see each other. You are currently standing in an unfamiliar obsidian cave, having received cryptic instructions with a somewhat flustered but also somewhat frustrated looking stranger.
Well, aren't you two a sight for sore eyes?
Welcome.
I gather my chlamys about me. Did I mention I also wear a chlamys on top of all of the rest? I think it makes me look philosophic. Anyway, I gather it up and I puff myself and I say, "What is happening?" Though it probably sounds better than that.
Point out of character point of reference.
Yes.
A Camnus?
I thought there was an L in there.
Clamnus?
Is it just Camus?
No. I'm inquiring what what manner of garment.
Yeah,
is.
that's what it is. Yeah, like the Greek, like you were.
Oh, this needs to go in an outtake.
This is some who's on first shit. No, it's the Greek robe thing that you hold with one arm that like Socrates is.
Oh, okay,
wearing.
Sure.
Like not actually Greek, but like Renaissance thought it looked Greek kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. Leave it in, take it out. You're the GM.
I do like that Dusk has already caused sartorial inquiry.
That's the brand.
One sentence of dialogue.
You're in Fermata. I say it as if this is completely self-explanatory.
I know my sense of direction is not always ideal, but I was just in the desolation, so how did I get from there to here?
Do I know, Adam? Or can I surmise?
Not really, but it seems pretty clear that the Obsidian God brought them here somehow.
Divine intervention, probably darkness.
Darkness checks out. These lands are very shadowed. Are these the shadowed lands?
No. That's a forest to the north.
Is it? I mean, I knew that, of course. Yeah, it is. This isn't that.
For reference, since I didn't actually mention in my intro, Romnut is a little over 6 foot, and I think I wrote him as ornamentally attractive, but not with a build useful for doing work.
I seem to remember those details being in your character sheet, yes.
So
he makes a good prophet.
Yes.
Yeah,
People follow me, and then I tell them what to do when things actually need doing. So
I'm shorter than you are. For those listeners to whom this is an important thing, I'm about 5'9". So if you're picturing eye lines, dear listener, that's probably an important note. How tall is Lissa? Lissa's quite tall.
Lissa,
6'7".
6'7".
How tall are you, Lissa?
Yeah. Everybody's looking up at Lissa.
Yeah, there it is.
In fact, where you came into the cavern, at least where you came to rest, Lissa, is tall enough for you to stand up, but you're going to have to duck to get pretty much anywhere else in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm probably going to hit my head a bit more too, but I do have 2 questions. First is, where do we go if we think a mistake has been made? Because I'm the least angry person that you'll ever meet. And the second is, where do we go to get a drink in here? And you want to get one with me?
I like both of her questions a lot, and I would like answers immediately, please.
Thank you.
I don't know that anger has anything to do with it. If the Obsidian God chose you, it was clearly for a reason, although they are not generally very forthcoming with reasons, more with instructions and headaches. As to a drink, there are several lovely places. Would you prefer a quiet city or the riotous city?
Riotous, I say immediately.
Okay.
I just go along with it. As the word quiet dies on my lips.
Assuming I don't actually need to roll anything to notice that.
No, you notice it.
I can point out some spots that you might prefer after, if that would be acceptable. What are your names?
Dask Tyr, and, I mean, quiet's fine too. But no, riotous. Definitely riotous.
Oh, Lissa, great. I just want a drink and a warm meal at this point, so I am not picky.
Okay. I'm Romnut.
All right.
A pleasure, I think.
Nice to meet you both, Dask, Romnut.
A pleasure, Lissa. I say, looking with my neck craned completely up.
I don't notice. It's normal. That's just how people's necks are, you know?
It's just how people are shaped down there.
Yeah. I remember there being a story one time when the Thrilling Adventure Hour had Weird Al Yankovic on about how that was the only time they were ever starstruck by one of their guests. And in remembering it, one of them went, I wonder if that's just how Weird Al sees the world, is just full of people who are quiet, shy, and happy to see you.
I mean, probably.
That would be kind of lovely.
Yeah. So would I be correct then in assuming, Ramnet, that you lead the
Oh, yes.
newcomers up out of the heart? It
up
is
out
a
of the heart.
lot of stairs. A lot of stairs.
But it's very hard to count them.
That is true.
Doesn't stop me from counting them.
I should have rolled to see how many times I hit my head on the way up.
I probably, after the third bonk, just, like, start pointing.
I'm going to say, even with the pointing, roll 3d10 to see how many times you bonk your head.
It's our first roll.
Yeah, our first roll for head bonks.
Oh, Lord. I got a pair of ones.
Okay, so only 2, and then it's obsidian, right? So it's like hard and angular. It hurts. So you start kind of paying attention to when Ramnet is, kind of pointing at places where the ceiling descends. Actually, while we're at the rolling, just to ease us into it, Dosk, if you want to roll Sense Sight. I think you could probably do Sense Scrutinize,
Okay.
actually, which would be 4 dice for you.
Do that.
We can do some rolls, some actual rain 1 roll engine.
What is this? Some kind of RPG or something?
That's the rumor.
I'm told.
I have got. Holy shit! I've got 4 6s.
Wow.
You rolled 4 dice and got 4
That's
sixes.
what happened.
What a waste.
If you want evidence, I can move my camera. But
I trust you. I believe you. That is.
oh, I'm sorry.
wild.
That is actually 3 6s. 1 is a 9. I blame the sake,
well,
but that
still
is 3
actually
6s.
really good. You count. You get to 75 steps, and then something strange happens because you continue counting, and you're pretty sure you didn't make a mistake, but you never move past 75. It's bizarre, and you can't quite account for it. But you're walking for probably another 3 minutes up these stairs, at a pretty rapid clip. But every new number you count in your memory is 75. It's very strange.
Okay, this is an aside, and like I said, cut it if you want. But as a person with actual OCD, I find I didn't know this was a horror game.
I don't want to give away too much of this early, but I find that most games that I run have
Are
at least
horror games?
some patina of being a horror
Every
game.
word.
Have you met Adam?
Yeah, you
Hello,
listener may
ladies
not
and
have met
gentlemen.
Adam. We have, so we're expecting this. It's a Thacker, right? The author who says that every work of philosophy is a horror story, and vice versa.
I'm just waiting for the flesh fountains to start.
Maybe a few episodes.
Okay.
Don't give it all away on the first date. Come on.
I struggle with that.
Someone needs to tell us of that.
In a rather more literal sense, I suppose. You eventually emerge from a side door in a structure, a very grand cathedral-like structure that nevertheless has very little of the sort of ethereal refinement of your later cathedrals. It's very stolid, very forceful architecture, all of obsidian.
Brutalist Gothic.
I was trying to avoid the word brutalist because people have very strong opinions about it, but you're not wrong either.
I know people have very strong opinions about it. There was a purpose.
Fair enough. Ramnet, you presumably lead them out through
This is the edifice, the manifestation in the riotous city rather than the quiet city.
So do we climb these stairs in silence, or has Ramnet made it clear that no questions are welcome, or are we asking him what the hell's going on as we climb this infinite Mario 64 staircase that we seem to be climbing?
I mean, I'm not in any way, making it clear that questions are not welcome, because, it's my job, and the god that has chosen me, for reasons deeply unclear to me, seems to expect that I will, tell you shit. The problem is that I haven't any idea what manner of stuff it is that I am to be telling you. So feel free to ask questions, and I'll make up answers.
So where are you from? What was your childhood like? What's your favorite food?
I'm from here, although it was not always here.
Elucidate.
I have 30 questions about that statement.
My childhood was, I don't know what even is a childhood.
It's the part before you know what you're doing. So I think we're all still in it.
Oh, so I'm still a child. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a giant child.
Cue the song.
I just want to hang out with Lissa. This is the side. So you're from here. I didn't know anyone was from here. Since we sort of ended up here, I guess I assumed no one was...
I mean, it's an entire city.
Sure.
Like, it's an entire city, by which I mean it's two cities that are opposite each other and interact, and...
I have 30 additional questions about that statement.
Space is weird. I say this like it's just fundamental and obvious and, like, shouldn't bear explanation, at the same time as I am struggling mightily to put it into words.
Was the city that is also two cities ever not Fermata, and that's where you're really from, but now it's Fermata, so you don't know where you're from?
I point at Lissa as though that's an extremely good point, and I wish some credit for it as well.
This has not always been Fermata, but Fermata has always been here. I realize that's probably unhelpful.
A lot of this is. I have a total of 67 questions so far. We can take them whenever is convenient for you, I suppose.
Just 67. We need to get this man a notepad and a pen.
The chief issue is that to everyone else, it has always been Fermata.
But not to you.
How old are you? Is that rude? I'm very sorry if that's rude.
I think I'm about 36.
I lean forward as though he's going to say 36,000 or something.
Yes, I'm very well preserved.
I nod. And my eyebrows raise just a bit.
To be fair, you're a very graceful 36. And an even more graceful 36,000, if indeed that's the case.
Indeed.
At about this time, you will emerge into the aforementioned, what did we call it, brutalist Gothic cathedral made of obsidian. Mm-hmm. And it's perfectly silent in this, cavernous chamber.
Not for me, because my head is saying 75, 75, 75, again and again.
But fair enough. Your ears are picking up nothing but your footsteps and whatever words you're speaking.
Every point in the manifestation is somehow an anti-node as far as acoustics go.
Pretty much, yeah. Sound doesn't seem to carry in here.
I shout out, hello.
There's no echo.
This is unsettling. I definitely need a drink.
And so you head towards the front doors, which are massive, but swing open easily enough. One of them does anyway, under Ramnet's touch. And you emerge into sudden noise. People are thronging the pathways on either side of a canal that seems to submerge, like go under the earth, under where this manifestation, this cathedral-like building is. If the word cyclopean architecture means anything to you, it is that, but extremely large, and seemingly all of one piece of obsidian, as you emerge from it. But the city that spreads out before you is extremely odd, physically impossible, you might say. There are buildings, fairly familiar to anyone who's been to one of the great trading cities of Taraxis. The architecture isn't strange, but everything is made of this black stone, including the canals, one of which is in front of you. You can see where it splits left and right, some ways down. Along either side of the canals are pedestrian walkways and roads for wagons and carts, as well as on the other sides of those, the actual rows of buildings, which seem to include, mostly in this area, businesses and civic buildings. but people are thronging the walkways. There are gondolas in the canals, and people are moving about and talking, shouting and singing, playing musical instruments. A few people are even capering, as though dancing to the music, seemingly in a ceaseless, dynamic mass. What's really interesting, of course, is that it is night. Well, it's dark. There don't appear to be stars, just inky blackness beyond any place you can see a building or the ground. Inky implies that it has some sort of texture or viscosity or reflectivity, and it doesn't really have that. The darkness that surrounds you is absolute. There's no sun in the sky, no moon, no stars. And yet, you can see. Everything seems to have just this very faint, very subdued, vaguely silver kind of limb around it, where it's not exactly glowing or backlit, but somewhat picked out from the background of darkness. You can perceive color, muted though it may be. You can tell that this person has light hair, this person has dark, this person is wearing blue, that person is wearing red, but there's not exactly light anywhere either. Everything just seems to have its own almost subliminal corona of silvery muted light that helps you pick it out. Which makes it all the more surprising that as you near the canal, Thromnet leading you down one side of it, you can see reflections in the canal. The water is seemingly completely still, and only broken by the paddles and passage of the gondoliers. But the reflections in the canal match movement, location, lighting perfectly, but you don't see yourself in the reflection. You see another person who seems to be leaning over the other side of the reflection at the same time as you, with the same expression, the same movement and timing and positioning. The same goes for the buildings. You see buildings reflected, but not precisely the same buildings. Similar, but not the same. All of it is, frankly, a lot, especially as you enter the crowds.
I oscillate. I am shamelessly agog, and then I am deeply ashamed, but no less agog. And then I return to my previous state, and so on and so on. I am useless for several seconds.
I strode over to my reflection, and when I realize that it's another person, I just go, "What's cooking? Good looking."
Their mouth moves at the same time as yours, and seemingly the same words as yours, but you can't hear anything but your own voice. I mean, you can hear plenty of what's going on around you, but it's not like you hear their voice as well. The person in the reflection, however, is a seemingly much smaller woman than you, almost pale to the point of seeming frail, with a long, thick braid, who is leaning out further over the canal to match your movement and position in it. But her eyes are wide and seem surprised, if not necessarily afraid. Even if you do say so yourself, maybe a little curious.
Can I hold a hand out to her?
You reach out a hand, and where it breaks the surface of the canal, it gets wet. She also seems to hold out her hand, although the reflection gets muddied by the ripples from your hand touching the canal. It's extraordinarily cold, I should point out. But it just seems to be water.
Yeah. Don't fall in. I lean back so she's not having to lean far as much over.
She matches the motion and is gone from your sight once you're straight up.
I point at what remains of the reflection and say, "Quiet." Then I point at Lissa and say, "Riotous." Then I point back, "Quiet, riotous."
I think
good. You
This is
figured it
addressed. This is addressed both to Lissa and to Romnet.
Yes, and I am sure that she may try to find you once we are on the other side of the canal.
A careful observer, while Ramnet is speaking, will actually note that there are staircases leading down into the canal, from which people are both walking into and in some cases walking out of. Transit between the two sides of the reflection seems to be pretty simple and free.
Are they wet?
No,
Huh.
they are not.
Those emerging are not wet. Huh.
They do shiver a little.
So about that drink.
Yes, first things first.
Presuming you have been following Romnet this whole time, you are led in short order to a squat but very broad building with, well, you can perceive that light is blazing out through the windows, but it doesn't cast any light into the street or the sidewalk. But when you walk in, it is actually a pretty homey atmosphere. Many tables made of honest-to-God wood, chairs similarly, polished bar, staircase in the back, presumably leading up to rooms to let. There is a small crowd inside, a couple dozen people spread out throughout the relatively large interior space. It's comfortably warm, and the light here actually does come from candles and lamps, and is in yellow-orange welcoming hue. As you walk in, you see that there are a cluster of people around the bar that are seemingly very focused on a particular woman. She is perhaps tall, although not by Lissa's standards. 6 foot, more or less, with platinum blonde hair and a solid build. Her hair is kept in these elaborate braids that stay kind of close to her head. Her eyes are a playful, glowing, icy blue, and she has very clear, very smooth, kind of medium dark skin. All of this is easy to take in because almost the attention of the entire bar is on her as she sings what appears to be an extremely bawdy song, although the references and terms are so elliptical and euphemistic that they are pretty hard to follow from the midpoint. But judging by the reactions of her audience of about 10 or so other people, they are reacting to every other line with whoa and ah and elbowing each other and winking at each other, and so you gather from context that this is ribald in the extreme. She has a stone mug of prodigious size in one hand, from which occasionally slush suds as though of ale or beer. Most of the rest of the people in the bar are seated around tables trying to ignore the commotion going on near the bar.
When I hear the crowd reacting, I pretend to get the jokes.
I don't pretend to get the jokes, but I wander over and have a good time and cheer and clap when appropriate.
I do get the jokes, and I nod at the singer.
Actually, when the singer does make eye contact with you, Romnet, she finishes the song pretty quickly, and then makes a flourish and a bit of a bow, drains off the rest of her stone mug and kind of puts it down to one side, and then kind of turns to face you and says, "Well, the prophet graces us. How do you do?"
Good evening. It is evening, yeah.
Well, day or night. It's always a good time. I don't recognize your friends. That's unusual. Few enough in Fermata I haven't seen at least once or twice. She puts on a big ol' smile that gets wider when she turns her attention to Lissa.
Name's Lissa. What's yours?
I am Aveen. Certainly nice to make your acquaintance.
Oh, it's nice to
Ma'am?
meet yours.
Oh, well, you flatter me, I'm sure. And you are? She turns to Dosk.
Dosk Tier, I say, attempting to look as though I'm very at home.
She nods. She says, very, very pleased. We have newcomers in Fermata so infrequently. How did you come by this place?
Strangely and suddenly?
That's usually the way of it.
Through the will,
she turns
through the
while
will
she
of
says
the
that
obsidian god.
She's in the middle of pouring some more brew into her mug, and it sloshes when you say that. She puts the bottle back down and turns and says, "Oh, is that so? Well, what's special about you then? I mean, not to be rude, I'm sure there's plenty, but as far as the big guy is concerned, what's special about you?
Still trying to figure that out, if I can be completely honest. I think a good drink and a warm meal will help a lot with that process.
Oh, of course, where are my manners? That's usually the way of it with the big guy. She waves over the barmaid and says, 2 bowls of stew and 2 big mugs of ale for our new guests, please. On me. And the barmaid, sort of smiles and blushes and curtsies at her, and then scurries off.
I will,
to
before
bring
she
your
scurries off, order, a sandwich and a glass of wine. Not, naturally, on Evine.
Yeah, the barmaid nods perfunctorily and then scurries off for good this time. Evine, turning back to the newcomer, says, "Well, anything in particular bring you to our fine town?"
I just felt like I was being summoned here. It's been a little bit of a rough day, so you'll apologize if I'm not at my finest, but at the very least, for your kindness, I would like to tip you generously.
She chuckles. She says, "Oh, I don't really take tips. It's, tip the barmaid if you must. I appreciate your generosity, but, well," she looks around. "To be honest, I'm kind of slumming it here. Technically, I've been nominated mayor by the big guy. It's not a position I don't think I'm well suited to, but I try my best." At this point, the barmaid returns with the food, handing Lissa and Dask a bowl and a mug each, and then handing Ramnet a sandwich and a goblet.
I hold the mug, and even so, I try to steeple my fingers. The effect is quite awkward, and I say, "The big guy."
That's usually how I refer to the obsidian god, head honcho around here, really. It's his town. As you can probably tell by looking around, everything all dreary and underlit.
And obsidian.
Wasn't the gig I asked for, but I try to do my level best.
The city's in capable hands. I like the cheery atmosphere in here. Feel right at home. And I toss back my ale. All of it.
She reaches up to clap you on the shoulder right as you toss back your ale, causing you to splutter a little bit, but not to lose any ale.
Very important.
That's an attitude that I like.
Well, one of the notable things about the Obsidian God is that explanations are often short and insufficient, and one does not always feel that one is doing what one is suited toward, so here we all are.
The lower half of my face is sipping my stew. The upper half looks as though I've received the worst possible news.
Evine does not notice this at all and goes, "Hey, ain't that the truth then? Ain't that the truth?" Wow.
I will raise my goblet at her.
She raises her, Stein tankard mug. I've been using a lot of different words for it, and says, "To the big guy, I suppose," and drains it off, looking very, sort of carefree and ruddy in the cheeks.
I like her.
I will actually offer to prophecy for Evine if she does have any questions.
So after a little bit of thought, she'll say, "Well, I do kind of wonder why these newcomers are brought here. Any information, any insight on that? No offense, you two, by the way. I'm glad you're here. It's just anytime the Obsidian God wants something in particular, I tend to think of it as making my job a little harder."
No offense taken, I say, slipping and pretending not to have slipped on the arm that I'm leaning on the bar.
I also say no offense taken whatsoever, and kind of lift my cup to her and nod with a wink.
So I think that for that, I have a spell that actually...
Ooh, shit. Is this the first time esoteric skills, esoteric paths are coming up in this this campaign?
In this case, I think it would actually be mortal sorcery.
Oh, shit. You're right.
Exciting.
Pardon my Anglo-Saxon.
The first real roll that does not involve head bonking.
Hen bonking and or stare counting.
No,
I am
only
very
because I
amused at
don't
the things
actually
we've done
have.
so
You know,
far.
I had to tailor my spell selection, so I don't. I suspect I have more narrative related prophecying. If you want to just give me like a sense plus sorcery for general magic.
Oh, I think that's actually going to be sense plus eerie for this one. I like using the eerie skill, which for our listeners is in Rain the skill that lets you detect the otherworldly or the supernatural.
Okay, then that is 7 dice for me, rather than 6 plus a master die. So boo.
Yes. Tell us our fortunes, beautiful prophet.
Yeah, man.
However, that is 3 8s.
Very good. So you sort of focus inward in the way that you have learned to do since becoming the prophet of the Obsidian God, and you don't exactly hear Mott's voice, but you do sort of sense Mott's will, and what's more, you sense it coming from the 2 newcomers near you, and realize with a start that they have been gifted some of Mott's being. Though the precise nature of this arrangement eludes you temporarily, or for the moment, I guess I should say, it is very clear that pieces of Mott are close to you right now.
They are themselves, but also extensions of Mott. Sorry, I do not say Mott. I very explicitly do not say Mott. They are extensions of the Obsidian God.
Big guy's got his fingers in all sorts of pies. Evine looks at Dusk and at Lissa and says, "My condolences. Not likely to be an easy job, but looks like you're deputies of a sort."
I'm tipsy and I think I look cool, but I'm probably just beaming.
Fair enough. Evine sort of gives you considering looks and says, "Well, it looks like we'll be working together. I'm not sure precisely what the big guy has in mind for you, but if it's a bed you're looking for, there are some here. I'll comp them for you until we can get you proper quarters. Presumably, it'll be in or near the manifestation if you're going to be working closely with the big guy. Any clue what pieces you got? Big guy has a lot of responsibilities, or so I gather."
This is possibly a GM question. Do we know that?
I think that is actually going to be a roll.
Okay.
If you would like to look inward and find out. I'm going to make it because I am a little bit capricious. I'm going to make that a sense plus empathy roll.
Okay.
Jeez, rude. I feel like
If I'm trying to figure out what manner of pieces they have, what would it be for me?
he said it
Also
when we
a
were
sense
in
plus
the
empathy
area,
roll.
though.
So let the record show, sense plus empathy for me is 2.
Same. That's all. That's why Adam laughed the way he did. He knew that both of us would just be rolling
did.
2.
And for me, it's a 6.
I got
This is-
a
and
0
I
and a
say,
10 and
I
an
say this
8.
with love. You dirty motherfucker.
That was the
Tips hat.
subtext to what I was just ranting about. But I got a
And
10 and an 8.
Oh shit!
Mott did say it.
I swear to you, I'm not fucking with you. This is 2 7s.
3 5s.
Nice. So probably because of the remarks that the Obsidian God made from the well back in the hearth there, you can figure it out with Dusk's sudden flash of insight that you currently are the steward, almost the embodiment, no, the Duke of nothing. Not that you don't have anything, but that the very idea, concept, and essence of nothing is both yours to command and is yours to steward, protect, and promote. Remembering the Obsidian God's words in the heart, that leaves Fury as Lissa's estate. And sure enough, perhaps to Lissa's surprise, that does seem to check out when you look inward.
I mean, I guess you could be furiously happy. It doesn't have to deal with anger.
Evine kind of chuckles and says, "You could just be a fury, frankly," and looks up at you.
Oh, no, I'm definitely a handful.
More than one, if I had to guess. She smiles lasciviously with absolutely no hint of subtlety and only a little hint of drunkenness.
I will
look at her.
And said that you're...
I will look at her.
I am beat red
glass
as I
and
say.
just
I don't
smirk.
mean to interrupt, but nothing is the thing I'm not. I'm not nothing. Nothing is not the thing that I am. I'm everything but. The only thing that I'm not is nothing. Nothing is not the thing that I could possibly be. I'm not.
You're the
that.
Duke of everything. Look at you. Clearly there's been some mistake.
Exactly what she said. I'm not. It's not that. I'm not. It isn't.
Evine goes, "Oh, don't take it too hard. I feel like being the Duke of Nothing doesn't mean you are... Well, you are nothing, but it's not like you're not anything. You're just
You are the stuff of
the
nothing.
Duke of Nothing."
Whatever's left of my drink, I down it.
Like it's nothing.
Like it's very particularly not nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I will pat him on the shoulder.
I pretend not to notice.
Evine finally sort of like stretches a little bit and goes, "Well, I've probably spent too much time here, but lovely as it's been. Welcome, though, to Fermata. Milord, milady, I suppose." She says it with a minimum of cheekiness.
Just Melissa. Where can I find you later?
"Oh, well, I'm usually down here in the Riotous city when I'm not working, but when I'm working, I'm up in the quiet city at City Hall. Can't miss it, really, if you go up there. Down there? Well, it's down from here, but I think of it as up there for some reason. Confusing place, but you get used to it. In any case, feel free to come find me," and she gives you kind of like elevator eyes, "anytime." And then she pauses for a significant like 1.5 count and then goes, "Both of you, really." And then glances at Ramnut and goes, "And you know where to find me when you need me."
As ever.
I attempt a courtly bow, probably come within an inch of hitting my head on the bar, and then go back to feeling sorry for myself.
Evine pats you companionably on the shoulder and says, "Do enjoy your first day, night, afternoon. Hard to tell. Especially in the Riotous city. Doesn't ever seem to really shut down. But enjoy it, and seek me out if you need me. In the meantime, I would not expect too much of a respite from the big guy. I'm sure he'll have something for you to do pretty shortly. In the meantime, thanks for making him comfortable, O Prophet.
Of course.
I'm sure we'll be seeing more of each other." And she gives you kind of like a imaginary hat tip that splits the difference between being kind of sardonic and sincere.
I will do a very formal, like, one hand over the other, and if you look closely, it's an eye that my hands make a shape out of, and sort of quarter bow forward over it.
I skip any formalities and just say, "Oh yes, much more."
She flashes you a smile and heads out at a brisk walk. She, sort of the flourish of the half cape on the back of her relatively everyday clothes. It's a black silk with a silver inner lining, the most dramatic piece of clothing that she wears by far. She's gone out the door, and you are left in this relatively, almost strangely normal pub, in the middle of this very abnormal city.
Can I call the barmaid over?
You certainly can.
Okay. I do that.
She scurries over, seemingly in awe of your stature. She bobs a very quick curtsy, but starts by craning her neck up and then just contents herself with looking ahead for a moment until she realizes where that puts her gaze, and then looks down at your feet and asks, "What can I get you?"
Oh, sugar. Do you have any white lightning?
"Oh, I'm not sure what that is. We've got ale and beer and wine and some spirits, I think."
What's the strongest drink on your shelf, darling?
Oh, she blushes when you call her darling. And she says, probably the local whiskey. I honestly don't know where they make it from, but it just tastes like fire to me.
That sounds perfect.
Milady.
I'll get around to that for everyone here, actually. And I slide a bunch of coins across the counter to her.
She, sort of looks at them and counts the first 3 and goes, this is far too much, milady.
Tip included.
She goes,
and it's Lissa.
Of course, milady Lissa. And she scoops all of the coins into, a purse, slides it under the bar, and then scurries off to pour. Now, when you said everybody here, did you gesture at the whole establishment?
The whole
or
bar.
just her?
I'm buying drinks for everyone.
Cool.
It's been a day.
Yeah. She goes to a clay jug and pours a tray full of what are basically small stone vessels. They're a little larger than modern shot glasses, but smaller than, a full lowball, and starts carrying the tray around, starting with you, Lissa, and then Dusk and Ramnet. If you want yours, you can take them off the tray when she circulates.
Take it, and in sort of the same way that Lissa has been flirting with most everyone else, I will very specifically make eyes at Dusk, and
Dusk's eyes are as wide as saucers, but his mouth is quirked as though he's the picture of composure, and he returns the toast and takes a drink.
How often does Dusk? Wow, tongue twister. How often does Dusk drink spirits?
That was a good tongue twister. Dusk drinks spirits regularly, but he probably is in the habit of making people think he's drunker than he is.
Fair enough. So you probably don't have to make a roll to get this just kind of down. But boy, it burns. It burns like fire on the way. And you manage to just kind of wheeze instead of cough. Saving a little bit of face.
I am completely convinced
Lissa,
I look extremely suave as I do so.
I mean,
I
while
pat
we're
him
at
on
it, while we're at it, just for the full force of the thing, I'm going to roll Fascinate at him.
by all means.
Which
Please
for me
do.
is 3 plus a master
We got
die,
mechanics,
with a
man. Let's
with a
use 'em.
with a minimum height of 7.
Yeah, that's right, because you're beautiful.
Oh, I'm a little bit beautiful too. Are you beautiful
Ye-
at 3 points or 5?
He's beautiful at 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're equally beautiful then, statistically speaking.
So that pair of 5s becomes 3 5s, becomes 3 7s.
Lucky 7s. Dusk, this prophet of the Obsidian God is really turning on the dazzle. You are rather impressed by his charisma and presence, as he, as suavely as you probably, although you don't have a mirror, but giving him credit where it's due, it's pretty suave. He takes his drink and gives you a very charming smile.
I'm seeing like the prototypical handsome anime face. Eyes a little squinted.
Yeah.
Features chiseled. Yeah, sure.
I was going to say if you're imagining Oran High School Host Club, but then again, I think probably that's not precisely Ramnet's version of handsome.
No.
You probably are pretty close there. Full effect of charm waves radiating off of this prophet with his obsidian jewelry.
Is it hot in here? Is anyone else
In the
warm?
meantime, every single person in the bar room is toasting Lissa as they receive and throw back their drinks.
I am doing the same, but while my arms gesture toward Lissa, my eyes are completely fixed on Robnet.
The barmaid comes back over and says, "Milady Lissa, the other patrons wanted me to tell you that your meal or room or next drink, whatever you wanted this evening, they're going to take care of it in recompense. They were very appreciative of the gesture. And she bobs a curtsy while looking at your feet, and then starts to scurry off.
Does she get away before I can stop her?
No, you can stop her first.
It's just Lissa. You don't have to say milady, and I'll have another one of these. That was good.
Of course, milady Lissa. I'm afraid, you know, the title is, well, she shrugs and says, I'll be right back with your drink, milady Lissa, milady. And then she comes back with another.
I think I've
to be okay.
I think I've waited for a reasonable opening, although I almost certainly haven't. I say, so you're a prophet.
In the sense that I am occasionally given answers to other people's questions.
I look at you with hunger.
That honestly probably is unintentionally one of the best lines I could have used on Dusk.
Yeah, no, you didn't know, but that was the shit right there. Yeah.
So can you tell our fortunes?
Instinctively, I remove a glove and show my palm.
I will take out the bottle of liquid that I carry with me, and presumably a bowl and a pitcher of water materialize in the way that they pretty well always do. And
the barmaid sees you bringing out your supplies and immediately bustles over with the requisite bowl and pitcher.
What's bigger than a saucer? Dusk's eyes or satellite dishes?
full dinner plates.
That's upsetting.
Just twin moons.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowledge generally has prices, but I think that you both have paid some today, so let's go with one question each, and I will offer what answers come. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
I nod 50 times very quickly.
You first,
So-
Dusk.
I will shuffle the cards,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very like, hey, I've got a deck of Nightfall tarot cards.
Oh, nice.
Marvelous.
This is not sponsorship. This is just
No, it's a fidgeting device,
yeah.
But we all do love Nightfall. Just throwing
What's not
it
to
out
love?
there.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And so I will nod at you to ask your question as I am just shuffling the cards.
I think for what I think is just a moment, what may be up to 30 seconds in reality, staring at you intensely, and I say, the big guy. What does the big guy want of me? And how does being nothing fit into that?
So, not mentioning that is two questions.
1.5.
Setting aside questions of math further, I will pour 2 drops from the bottle into the pitcher, and from the pitcher then into the bowl, and have a sip, gesturing at the bowl.
I take a sip. All right, I absolutely I sip it. There's a beat in which I do not sip it. I look at the bowl. I look at Romnit. I look at the bowl. I look at Romnit. Then I sip it greedily, as though to convince everyone looking, which may be no one, but everyone looking, that I knew what to do from the beginning.
And so it's water, but at the same time, like, it shouldn't be that cold. It shouldn't feel like ice that has flipped the bit and is somehow hot again.
It's like when you get up in the middle of the night and you take a sip of water and you feel the temperature too much and you think, shit, I haven't had enough water. You feel the temperature every inch down you. Is that the situation?
And there's also sort of a sharpness to it. Not mint sharpness, but like somewhere between celery and horseradish. But it's just water. You saw the water appear, you saw 2 drops of black liquid turn the entire thing black in a modified version of, like, how holy water is produced. And I dip my index finger into just past the surface and put a drop of that on my tongue, and use the same finger to parcel out 3 cards, which I will then flip over. They appear, they are tarot cards in some sense, but they are not, tarot cards of Earth, obviously. Mm-hmm. There are no labels. There are suits, perhaps, but it would take a good deal more looking at the cards to understand what they do. And then I will roll, presumably, again, Sense plus Eerie at him.
Correct.
So that is 3 6s. 3 seem to be the order of the day for me.
How very appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So you flip over the cards. The illustrations are esoteric to any outside observer, but they resolve instantly into meaning for you. However, before you can explain anything, you feel your mouth move and hear your voice speak without you. And speaking in your own voice, and yet somehow clearly not you, even to your listeners, you say, "Child, nothingness, you are welcome here in Fermata, but soon you shall have to depart. Your task, darkness, the fear, the reverence must grow, must start here and spread. You will know what to do." And then you feel the control of your vocal cords and the mouth return to you. Not perhaps the first time this has happened to you, but certainly never particularly pleasant.
Yeah, I will sort of, like, move my mouth around and, like, take a drink of the whiskey to get the taste out.
Yeah. Dusk's eyes are no, go for it, sorry.
You go.
I was going to say Dusk's eyes are no longer twin moons, they're binary suns. Enormous, and yet his mouth quirks in sympathetic disgust when he sees that Romnett is not especially enjoying the experience.
I mean, it's one of those comes with the job that was handed to me. That's out of character, I suppose, since you didn't actually. But yes. And your question, Alyssa?
Can I also have 2? Because he got 2.
Only one was
1.5.
1.5. Okay. Let me think about this.
I suspect further that I may not be the one answering. So ask what you will.
Okay. Well, I'll just go for both of the big questions that are currently on my mind and hope for the best. The first is, why Fury? Because I'm a nice person. Like, you've hung out with me. I might be a bit big, but I'm not an angry person. And also, is there a way to, like, make things go back to normal?
Okay, so same deal with, the bowl is already full of the relevant liquid, whatever it is.
I'm nodding furiously. I like this question.
I will also enjoy that you're nodding furiously.
And so I will indicate the bowl. Take a sip.
I take a sip like it's a shot.
And I will
I like that.
Lick the salt off the rim and
index finger of the other hand to the surface of the liquid to my tongue and make another roll.
Do. Sense plus Eerie.
Okay. 5 8s.
Damn, son.
Boy, oh boy. That's a lot. This time your voice does not sound like yours. It sounds like the one that came out of the well.
Probably everybody in the establishment is turning to listen.
Oh, for sure, yeah. That voice, carries, and they know what it is. And speaking to Lissa, you say, or you hear yourself say, sort of. You hear your mouth be used to say,
Child of Fury, you are what you could only be. There is more to you that will help to spread reverence, even fear of darkness. Darkness itself. It must grow. It must increase. You will increase it. Your fury knows no bounds.
and this time, once the final word trails off, Rumnet, you end up just like in a coughing fit, and the serving girl rushes over with just like a stone vessel full of water for you.
I thank her and slide her a coin, sort of sleight of handly.
She bobs a curtsy with murmured thanks and then puts the bar and a few feet between you and her.
Yep.
Oh, that was something that happened.
Been a while.
The bar room is still pretty quiet at this point, so everything you say is very like carrying.
Hi everyone. I am not an angry person, just so you know.
She's not an angry
people just
person,
kind of-
I say twice as loud as I mean to.
Everybody kind of looks at you for a minute, a couple nod slowly, and most of them then just kind of like turn back slowly to their drinks and their conversations, which start quiet and then get louder.
Another drink on the for everyone on me.
The serving girl bobs a curtsy and says, "Yes, milady Lissa, your previous payment covers it quite handily, milady Lissa. Don't think twice about it." And starts putting together a tray.
You're the best.
Why, thank you, milady Lissa. And
Are you gonna ask her name?
Make eye contact.
Oh yeah, what is your name?
Kea.
Well, my lady
Lady
Kea,
Lissa.
thank you for your assistance.
Oh, why? You're welcome, milady Lissa. And then she doesn't quite sprint with the tray, but looks as though she wants to around the bar room to, serve everyone their drinks.
I'm getting serious Deuce vibes, and I'm here for it.
Unintentional, but now that you've mentioned it, I'm going to lean into it because Deuce is absolutely the best. I can't do the voice though. In any case, another round comes around. I'm assuming you included yourself in that.
Yeah,
and
and my
you also
friends.
you also notice Kea take a drink this time too. Although she tries to be surreptitious about it.
I grin teethily at her.
She again looks very flustered, if adorably so, and tries to discharge her responsibilities in the bar room of the pub without getting too distracted. If there are any other specific questions or points of order you would like to address with Robnet, you certainly have time. Otherwise, I should perhaps assume that, you while away a little decompression period with your dinner and your drinks in the bar room. And you do have, free rooms waiting for you upstairs.
I mean,
when the time comes.
I would ask of them, what and where they were before.
Good point.
I'll add first and foremost that I'm looking at Romnet whenever I'm pretty sure he's not looking at me. I'm probably wrong at least half the time. I say that I'm from a merchant family. I don't like to talk about it, but I just want to know everything. I try to learn as much as I can, meet as many people as I can. I've been to the four corners of Taraxis. I don't know why I would be called to the estate of nothing, of all things. It seems an insult. If anything, I take a drink. I fall silent for a while.
I reiterate that he's actually the Duke of everything.
I nod vigorously, and I feel very, very close to Lissa. I wish I could be a better wingman in that moment.
The thing about nothing is that voids are a bit like vacuums and they seek to be filled.
Nature abhors me, though. That's the thing. I don't like to be abhorred.
Nature is not all there is, and I will offer him a half smile.
Each eye is a binary sun.
What is larger than a binary sun?
A galaxy each.
Yes.
are the eyes.
2 binary suns.
These descriptions are drifting from the figurative to the terrifying. I just wanted to let you know.
I'm sorry.
This is a horror game.
Are we not doing cosmic horror? I'm sorry. I should.
Well, we're not doing cosmic horror. I guess I'll slide.
Sure.
Forge Mistress of Pilton. I did a little bit of labor here and there, mostly farm work. Tough, but honest work.
I wouldn't know about that. I will offer a self-deprecating smile.
I mimic the self-deprecating smile.
Oh boy. At around that time, Lissa, you feel just kind of like a tug. I would say on your sleeve, but I don't know if you're wearing any. Maybe just on sort of like, the your shirt above your belt, and turn to see that the servant girl, Kea, is standing there, kind of looking up over your shoulder, and looking a little self-conscious, but also a little rosy-cheeked. And you remember that she had a drink a little earlier, and she said, "Milady, Miss Lissa, milady, I hope it's not too forward of me, but I wanted to ask, I've never seen a tattoo so big. Did it hurt?"
Not at all.
"Oh, I've heard they're very painful, and they take a long time, so it just seemed strange, but it's very... I like to look at it, though. Sorry.
You can't...
Sorry, milady."
Oh, no, it's not forward at all. I mean, you can't see most of it when all my clothes are on.
She goes scarlet from her hairline to her neckline and bobs a curtsy and says, "I'm sure it's lovely, Miss Lissa. I should really get back to what I need to be doing," and leaves like a smoke trail behind her as she tries to find somewhere else.
There's a her-shaped cloud left where she was.
Yeah.
I lean in over to Dosk and go, "Do you think I scared her off?"
In a good way.
Good.
I have a feeling, I suppose, is what I'm saying, that she'll be back.
Moths and flames.
What was that, Romnut?
Moths and flames.
Which is which?
I think that's apparent.
I pretend to know what he means.
I mean, I do have a bright personality. Awkward silence.
I mean, I'm just smirking.
Awkward silence.
As the evening wears on a bit, you actually get a few of the other patrons kind of approaching to introduce themselves and shake hands. The sort of more outgoing, personable and ruddy-cheeked ones invariably gravitate toward Lissa, usually with a pretty appreciative eye and an appreciation for her demeanor, while the sort of more reserved types seem to gravitate a little bit more toward Dusk, and come away seeming to feel as though they've had a great conversation, even if maybe later they would be hard-pressed to recount any of its content. And in this way, the evening wears on until, well, it's not like the sun goes down and the stars come out or anything, but the bar room does eventually mostly empty out. And it seems probably as though it is getting to be time for everyone to retire. Certainly, our travelers of late, Dusk and Lissa, you are feeling pretty beat by this point, partially because of the drinking, but also because of all of the activity and traveling and how full your day has been, and how full your soul is of a shard of an obsidian god. That too.
Small things.
We've all been there, yeah.
Yeah.
How relatable this content is.
If we do our job, hopefully it will become so. But the the rooms upstairs are beckoning, and Kea offers to show you to them. Presumably at this point is about when Ramnet sort of makes his goodbye. So perhaps we should cover that first. If there's anything in particular you want to leave your new associates with,
I will let them know where my house is, and let them know that it is in the same location in the Riotous and the Quiet City.
And that does seem significant, that it is in both in the same spot.
But are you always in both?
It's the same house. You go out one door, it's the Quiet City. You go out the other door, it's the Riotous City.
Eyes like black holes that have eaten galaxies.
The problem is that next session you will be hard-pressed to begin topping that.
Presumably once he sleeps, his eyes will go back to normal.
Well, remains to be seen.
Cliffhanger.
Perhaps you'll flip the bit and start with a white hole.
Maybe.
Bidding you goodbye, letting you know where his, where he's to be found. Ramnet heads out into the only somewhat quieter late evening of the Riotous City, and Kea comes to offer to show you to your rooms. She leads you up the stairs and shows Dusk to the first room on the left. You've seen worse, you've stayed in worse, but it's nothing particularly special, other than, of course, the fact that the walls are made of obsidian, only the furniture and the floor is made of wood. You even have a window, though it is difficult to... You have to be standing all the way in it with your face very close to the casement before you can resolve anything outside of it into a sensible vista of the Riotous City. Kea leads Lissa to the next door, opens it for you, and he says, "I do hope you'll have a lovely stay, Milady Lissa, and come back sometime. I know we're not the, fanciest place around, and I'm sure you'll be surrounded by, the fanciness of that Fermata can offer, but, well..." She shrugs a shoulder and looks down, plucking at the hem of her apron, and says, "Has been a pleasure serving you, Milady Lissa, has it?" And then gestures you in the door.
I kind of step back and open the door for her and say, "It seems a little bit cold in here. I wonder what we could do to warm this place up a little bit."
"Oh, we certainly have some firewood. I don't notice the temperature very much of late, I don't guess. But let me go grab some for you." And she starts to scurry down the hallway toward the stairs.
Okay.
She seems very happy to be helpful for whatever that's worth. And as you are unlacing your boots, she comes back with a small armful of firewood to put in the fireplace and says, "I'll just get this going for you then, my lady Lissa," as she starts to, stack the wood and
Much appreciated,
pile timber.
Lady Kea.
"Oh, you really shouldn't, my lady, but thank you all the same." In very short order, there is a cheery fire burning in the fireplace, and she stands up and curtsies to you where you are sitting on the bed, bootless, and says, "Is there anything else you require, my lady Lissa?"
Maybe a bath?
She goes, "Oh, well, we'll heat some water in the morning, but if you don't mind a cold one, I can show you where they are."
I've had enough of cold water today. I think I can wait for the morning.
"Very well. I hope you sleep marvelously, my lady Lissa, and let me know if there's anything you require." She gives you a curtsy and heads for the door. And with that, you're both abed for the evening. And,
Some people just can't take a hint.
That's what makes it fun.
In which
You
Adam
both,
gets to be coy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In which
even
I
all of
cannot
the
press
players in
any
this
further.
GM/coquette.
Yeah, our listeners won't be able to see me batting my eyelashes, but I'm doing it. In due time, probably fairly soon, given the traveling and the drinking, both of you fall asleep. And you won't know it unless you discuss it in the morning, but the dream that you have is the same. You have a view from a high vantage point over what you recognize as the whole of Taraxis, though there's no way you could really see all of it from one spot. And there are precious few landmarks that you recognize specifically. But in that way that dreams have, you know that's what you're seeing. You're seeing it lit by the noonday sun, cheery and beautiful. You open your mouth to say something. You're not sure what. But instead of words, out of your mouth, and then after a moment, out of your eyes, nose, ears, pours darkness. It must be pouring out of you at a prodigious rate because it covers the landscape in moments, and you can see nothing, but you feel a profound sense of peace, which sticks with you until you awaken the next morning. And I think that's where we'll leave it for this time. We will begin next time with your first day and your first tasks in Fermata. But having gotten you settled, I think that is a good stopping point. Our play should gain momentum as we go forward, but hopefully you guys had as much fun as I did there. Any last thoughts or intentions that we wish to get on the docket for next time?
I assume that I am not a party to that dream.
Correct. This would be a nobles only.
I was going to say my dude ended up way more flustered than I expected, but it was actually perfect. I hope folks found it relatable. When surrounded by strange things, don't expect yourself to not be caught flat-footed by the utter enormity of your situation.
I love Dosk. Dosk is great.
Dusk is lovely.
I enjoyed all of you guys' character work today quite a bit, and I look forward to seeing more of it. Well, I think that concludes our first session of our Nightfall campaign. Thanks for joining us. I hope our players and listeners enjoyed it as much as I did, and that you'll all join us again next time. If you're hearing us now, then you probably know where to listen to this, but we can be found almost any place one can listen to podcasts, as well as on the wider web at dicepunks.com and on Twitter as @dicepunks. With that, I think we're ready to say farewell. Say goodbye to the kind folks at home, players.
I mean, if you've got 30 or so questions, as I know I do, I mean, those are good places to send them. Come at us, fellow punks.
And we'll try to answer them as enigmatically as the obsidian god would.
Good night, sleep tight, don't let the moonshine bite.
Very appropriate. And as the poet once said, exit light, enter night. Thank you, dear listeners, for listening to the first episode of our first campaign. And stick around through the admin stuff. Bromnet has a prophecy for you. We can't wait for you to hear the next episode of Nightfall, due out on May 15th, so if you enjoyed this at all, definitely don't miss that. We're really excited for all that Nightfall has in store for our players and for our listeners. The songs in this episode, theme of the Dice Punks, were written and recorded by the Duke of Nothing himself, Drew. Cover art is by Joanne, who will be behind the scenes for the time being, but played Rue, the Gremlin, in our Psionics one-shot. Site design and graphics for DicePunks.com are by Robin, the player behind the irrepressible Lissa, the Duchess of Fury. Rain and the one roll engine it runs on were created by Greg Stolze, whose work can be found in, well, a frankly astonishing number of cool places, but I'll point you toward gregstolze.com. Nobilis was created by Jenna Caterin Moran, and can be found alongside much of her other really intriguing work, both in and outside of tabletop role-playing, at afarandsunlessland.wordpress.com. Links to both systems and authors can be found on the Punk Grimoire section of our website, dicepunks.com. Thanks so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, well, that's reward enough on its own, really, but if you're so inclined, you can help us out by rating and reviewing us wherever you listen to us, telling your friends who you think would like us to give us a listen, and even by heading over to our Patreon at patreon.com/dicepunks. We have fun rewards available to backers, including a patron-only Discord and access to the Dice Peaks after show for episodes 1 and following. Regardless, we hope you'll tune in again, and until then, remember, subtlety is for cowards.
Remember that for every smile in the darkness, there are at least 2 rows of teeth.